On Tuesday, A$AP Rocky was found not guilty in his felony assault trial in Los Angeles. The jury acquitted him of 2 charges of felony assault with a semi-automatic firearm stemming from a November 2021 incident involving his former friend and A$AP mob member, A$AP Relly. Now, outside the courtroom, did y'all see Rihanna put up the hand? Rocky thanked God and the jury for allowing him to be a free man. Check out what he had to say.
We want to thank God first. We got to thank God first, you know what I'm saying? And I really want to thank the jury for making the right decision, you know? And I'm just so thankful. This is crazy right now. This whole experience has been crazy for the past 4 years, but I'm thankful. Nonetheless, I'm thankful, and we're blessed to be here right now, to be a free man talking to y'all. Thank you. All praise to God.
Joining me to discuss from the Ben Crump Law Firm, attorney Sue Ann Robinson. I wanted you to come in today to talk about the A$AP Rocky case. A lot of conversation online about it. Wanted to make sure that we have an expert here to be able to address any possible questions. Now, we know, Sue, that a lot of folks take plea deals. We know that plea deals, for many, especially those who do not have the income, like A$AP Rocky, for an adequate defense, take a plea deal. So he did not take the plea deal. What are your thoughts on that? He took a chance, he rolled the dice, the outcome was good, but what were your thoughts on why he did not take the plea deal?
I think that the evidence kind of showed why he didn't take a plea deal. The state just could not meet the elements of the case to prove the case. So he absolutely rolled the dice in the sense that you never know what the jury's gonna see. But for sure, based on the evidence presented by the state, they had the testimony of the one witness from his other crew, from his same crew, and evidence apparently that the gun was not real, that it was a prop gun. He apparently picked up the shell casings himself and took them to the police to file the charges. So I think all of that played into kind of his strategic decision with his lawyers not to accept a plea deal.
Now, you're talking about evidence. One of the things they brought into evidence was text messages. So I know a lot of folks, you know, they're always saying, be careful what you text, be careful what you say on the phone. How important is text messages, and how much weight can it carry in the court of law?
I think text messages are basically being treated almost as testimonial. Those are the statements of whoever it's being offered against. So they're being accepted just as testimonial evidence, and everyone uses their phone, everyone text messages. So definitely, you know, I think the jury places a lot of clout on text messages in different cases, especially in this one, because they had a lot of communications just about their relationship.
But how do we know, Sue, if it's the person on the other end? You know, this case aside, how do we know if it's the person that they say is actually texting? I know that there's always technology that can show it came from my phone, but how do we know that wasn't somebody that had my phone for that day? How do we know what state of mind I was in? Do you see that really changing as we start looking, you know, moving forward with technology and how it plays a role in cases?
For sure. I think it's the burden of whoever is introducing the electronic evidence to lay the proper foundation for it to come into evidence. So they would have to show either via subpoena from the phone company, you know, how the transmission came in and how it went out. But the burden would definitely be on whoever's introducing the actual text message. But I think that because we use text messages so much, everyone kind of understands the basic underpinnings of how it works. So it gets more and more difficult because we're so used to text messages in everyday life to say, oh, this text message is fake or this one was hacked, etc. But I definitely think it's going to be evolving, especially with AI and things like that.
Yeah, because you know people love saying, celebrities love saying stuff was hacked. You know, when they get stuff put out online and videos, oh, my phone was hacked. Not sure if a lot of people are believing it, but that is one of the excuses. So I was just curious to know, you know, how you see that playing in the court. Now, in 2019, President Trump did intervene and which resulted in Rocky being released from prison in Sweden. How do you think politics played a role in this particular case, or you know how it may possibly in the future?
I think the two cases are separate. I think he intervened because he was a United States citizen being held overseas. The only type of politics I see playing out in this particular case is street politics. Just a sad case of him, you know, A$AP Rocky being able to rise above being the most popular one in the group, having all the success, and just people being jealous or comparing themselves to kind of his rise to fame.
And last question, we know that there may possibly be a civil case that comes out of this as well. At the Ben Crump Law Firm, you guys are constantly working on civil cases, and people confuse civil versus criminal. Can you explain the difference between the two, that somebody can absolutely be found not guilty on the criminal side, but the how you're found guilty or responsible, if you will, or liable on the civil side, how those levels of meeting the standard are different? Can you explain that to people?
Sure. In a criminal case, the state attorney, I am a former prosecutor, has to prove the case beyond and to the exclusion of any reasonable doubt. And as we all know, if you're found guilty in criminal court, the penalty is going to jail or some sort of incarceration. In a civil case, it's a different standard. It is the preponderance of the evidence. So the person only has to prove it's more likely than not, which is a significantly lower burden. And if you're found liable in civil court, what you lose is money. You don't go to jail.
Again, thank you so much, Attorney Sue Ann Robinson from the Ben Crump Law Firm, for joining us today on Revolt News to break it down and help us explain the legal side of the ASAP Rocky case. Hope you come back, Sue.
For sure. My pleasure.
Thank you. They tapped into Revolt News for updates.